Welcome to Vinyl Riffs. I'm Sean Gaillard. This is a space for music, grooves, and the stories we carry with us. Each week, I spend a little time with the record that matters a little something to me. Not to hype it up, not to explore its metrics or its hit potential, not to analyze it, but just to listen, reflect, and soak within the marrow of its grooves. If you're listening while driving, sitting, moving, running, working out, I'm so glad that you're here with me. Let's drop the needle on another record and see what it means and see how we connect with it. This week, I am very excited that a new reissue from the team at Craft Recordings through the lens of original jazz classics have reissued this masterpiece here from Vince Guaraldi and Bola Sete. The record is called From All Sides, and it's a 1964 recording, and it was just reissued just a few days ago, and I was so excited to see that package sitting near my mailbox, and I have played this a few times. This is an album that has stayed with me. I discovered this album uh, probably back in the mid to late 90s when it was reissued on compact disc. And I just love the craft, pun intentional for craft recordings. I love the craft and the care and the intentionality that they put in this particular reissue. You've got heavy cardboard stock for the album cover. It has been cut from the original master tapes by Kevin Gray. You also have the recreation, if you will, of the original liner notes of the album. And I am a geek for these kinds of things. Of course, probably the guru, the master of all liner note authors, and that is the great Ralph J. Gleason. He was one of the founding members of Rolling Stone magazine, and his pen created several influential liner notes specifically for Vince Guaraldi. He was a champion of his music, and Gleason's work also found its way, um, in Creedence Clearwater Revival, their debut album, and other records as well. And I really respect his work and his writing. And he concludes the liner notes with the sentence, I expect to be listening to this album for a long, long time. And to me, this record is being reissued and landing at the right time. We are in the midst of the 75th anniversary of the recording output of Vince Guaraldi. His first recordings were released 75 years ago. Just so incidentally happens to be the 75th anniversary of the debut of Charlie Brown and the Peanuts Gang from Charles Schulz. And as you all know, Vince Guaraldi is most famous for scoring all of the original Charlie Brown television specials that aired on CBS during the 60s and 70s. Guaraldi's music is often heralded during the holiday season, specifically with the Charlie Brown Christmas. And I've talked about that record as well. But the thing about Guaraldi being the jazz pianist that he was is that he was just not known for scoring the Peanut specials. He did a lot of other things as well, and this album actually predates the Charlie Brown music. And Vince Guaraldi was by the time of Charlie Brown Christmas in 1965 was an established Grammy Award winning jazz musician. Of course, that Grammy Award was for Best Jazz Composition, Cast Your Fate to the Wind, now a jazz standard covered by many, many folks. And Guaraldi was also one of kind of the early pioneers of bringing bossa nova music to the United States. Of course, nod to Charlie Bird and Stan Getz, and their collaboration and what that spawned. But there were other musicians as well. And here Guaraldi is collaborating with the great Brazilian guitarist Bola Sete on and one of their, I believe, three recorded collaborations as well. This was the second that came out, and it's a quieter Guaraldi record in my opinion. There's kind of one kind of raucous song on here, the Ballad of Pancho Villa, but it is kind of a more contemplative, reflective album, which I greatly appreciate. And with all of that kind of contemplation and reflection, this record feels like the right season for that. I have always loved Vince Guaraldi. I grew up on Charlie Brown and the Peanut specials, and I've always loved to explore his canon, which is really interesting beyond the Peanuts specials. So I highly recommend this record, and even if you only know things like a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving and a Charlie Brown Christmas and some of those other really cool reissues that are coming out from the group at Lee Mendelson Productions. Check out some of these things as well. Jazz is very much companion music for me, and I know that for those of you that are tuning in, jazz is that kind of friend, is that soft friend, that easy companion that kind of fills your mind with reflection and contemplation and imagination and creativity. So, who was Guaraldi at this moment when he recorded from all sides? Well, as I mentioned, established jazz pianist. He had his own trio. He had recorded with several other musicians of some regard, and he was very much kind of one of those figures in that early 1960s West Coast jazz scene. As I mentioned, he had great success with Cast Your Fate to the Wind, which was one of the iconic tracks on his interpretation of the Black Orpheus bossa nova songs that he put together with his trio. That record is called Jazz Impressions of Black Orpheus. And Black Orpheus was a kind of modern retelling of that Greek myth set in modern day Rio de Janeiro during Carnival season. And this pre-Peanuts era music just really highlights his distinctive and expressive playing. He was known for his kind of melodic and lyrical and expressive warm tone in his piano playing. Again, check out Cast Your Fate to the Wind to get really a great sampling and representation of that music. Bola Sete, as I mentioned, Brazilian guitarist who had his own kind of groove going on and emigrated to the United States and played with Dizzy Gillespie. And his music, his guitar playing, also expressive and melodic and warm. And he's really going to this music, his collaboration with Vince Guaraldi, is going to put him on the map, and he's going to form his own trio and record a very famous live performance at the Monterey Jazz Festival. And again, his music doesn't overpower. Again, very melodic, very lyrical, and an ideal fit for Guaraldi. And this album, really is a dialogue between piano and guitar. The piano and guitar are listening to each other and speaking to each other, and it's just really cool conversation coming from the fact, as stated on the liner notes, that Bola Sete's English very minimal, and Vince Guaraldi's Portuguese very minimal as well, and so they used music as that vehicle to communicate. and articulate and connect. Um, there's a lot of space in between the notes, and you hear that specifically. I think. I mean, there's just not a bad track on this album, so it's hard to like highlight one track over the other. Their rendition of the Little Drummer Boy, which kind of predates the music that Guaraldi will do on Charlie Brown Christmas, is wonderful. Their cover of Girl from Ipanema is just light. It just fits so right. It's tight and right. And again, just warmth in the sound. There's not a lot of flash. The solos are very economical. The rhythm section of the classic Vince Guaraldi trio with Jerry Granelli on drums and Fred Marshall on bass on most, about 75% of the tracks on this album. And then we have two other players as well, other um, kind of compatriots of Guaraldi, specifically Monty Budwig on percussion, and Nick Martinez on bass. Again, just a light, warm album. The record doesn't shout; it invites you. And I think the title "From All Sides," to me, is just how the music just immerses you from all sides in a warm, safe, cool way. We have this kind of connection across cultures. Some of the first stirrings of what we now know as world music, and a great lesson here in stepping outside your comfort zone, as both musicians did, to create something new and different and exciting, using music as that divine language, that divine universal language that we all know and love. So if you're looking for an album that teaches you how to leave room for others, as Guaraldi did, if you're looking for an album to find a conversation and to really tune into what it means to connect with another human being, as Set and Guaraldi do. Two guys from, I mean, look at the cover there, just two cats grooving, happy, and enjoying the company of their connection and their collaboration. This album is for you if you're looking for, finding how to find space for your own band and taking this kind of ethos in your own work. This is the album for you. Highly recommend. Ask your local friendly neighborhood record store to order you a copy. I ordered my copy directly from Craft Recordings, and very grateful that it's in my possession now. Music like this meets us in our quiet seasons. Music like this, from all sides, invites us to slow down, to pause, and to reflect, and to explore new possibilities and new collaborations and new dialogues. And it also shows us that partnership is powerful, just as Guaraldi and Set did on this album and the two other albums that they also recorded together. The album that precedes this, Vince Guaraldi, Bola Sete, and Friends, is a wonderful album as well. And then their live album that they did together, where they take the music from the Black Orpheus and do their own kind of suite, which is wonderful. The Live at El Matador album. The other thing about that particular album is it has one of the great Beatle covers on that album, "I'm a Loser," which I highly recommend. Set sits out on that one, but it's still, both those albums are worth tracking down, and hopefully Original Jazz Classics and Craft Recordings will reissue those albums as well. So thanks to Original Jazz Classics and Craft Recordings for putting together this loving reissue of From All Sides from Vince Guaraldi and Bola Sete, and happy 75th anniversary to Vince Guaraldi. Looking forward to more reissues and more releases and more ways that will celebrate just an iconic jazz musician who has helped shape the landscape of music and popular culture. Thanks for spending time with me on Vinyl Riffs. Music has a way of meeting us where we are and reminding us of where we've been, and sometimes shows us who we are becoming. If this record stirred something within you, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to connect with you. Feel free to leave a comment on the podcast platform of your choice where you're hearing this particular episode. It really does mean a lot, and it's a way for us to connect. What albums hold meaning in your life? I would love to hear from you. What vinyl riffs connect with you? Until next time, keep listening to the music, keep moving, keep grooving, take care of yourself, and I will catch you on the flip side. Thanks for tuning in. This is Sean Gaillard for Vinyl Riffs.